It is time for one of the favorite TV events of the year here at Motion Plus Lanes, the SABR Open 2018 edition. I'm Phil Brilo, alternate shot doubles format. We've seen teams in the past make big charges to win. We've seen teams take the title from the top seed. Going to be interesting today. Some very experienced players in our number 3 and 4 seeds in the step ladder. A couple younger players in the top seed. We'll see how it all pans out here today. From Motion Plus Lanes, we'll be back with our opening match after this short break. Why just watch the action when you can be part of the action at SABR Laser Tag in Pewaukee? Take the challenge in one of 2 5,500 square foot arenas. Battle it out with family and friends using realistic military-style weapons. Come out and celebrate a birthday. Bring out your employees or coworkers for team building. Or take advantage of our specials running Monday through Thursday. Check us out on the web at sabertag.com. Proprietor Kerry Catania kicking things off once again here at Motion Plus Lanes, the 2018 SABR Open. The always popular, always interesting alternate shot doubles format. In our opening match, one of the best doubles teams in state history, with Chad Moss and Dave Beres taking on Nathan Michalowski and Tony Oliva. Chad Moss starting things off for his team here on lanes 9 and 10. Our TV pair here at Motion Plus. Good shot off the hand. Lucky break to get the 10 down late for Moss, and you can see not happy with the initial result. Thought he threw a better quality shot out of his hand. Ball laid up a little bit, getting into that 1-3 pocket, and Dave Beres should have no problem with converting the single pin. Many years of experience on the PBA Regional Tour for both Beres and Moss, and Beres, of course, the year on the exempt tour back in the mid-2000s. I want to thank SABR Laser Tag for jumping on board this season and sponsoring several events on our Spectrum Sports telecasts. Gentlemen we haven't seen in a while on our Spectrum Sports shows, Nathan Michalowski. Last time we saw him was in 2015 in the Junior Hall of Fame tournament, where he bowled with Matt and Billy Hibbard and finished in 4th place in that event. And the week 10 for Michalowski, as the ball gets a little late into the 1-3 pocket, you see the 6-pin just kind of quit laying in the flat gutter. And Tony Oliva, he's won this tournament before. He won it with Greg Thomas a few years back. Greg now living in South Carolina, and Oliva no problem converting the 10-pin. Bowlers bowled 8 alternate shot doubles games during qualifying, hitting every pair in the 16-lane center during qualifying. Then we cut to our top 10 teams for 3 games of alternate shot match play before we reached our final 4 for these TV finals. Waiting in the wings for the winner of this match, Chris Hill, Glenn Deutschendorf, our number 2 seeds. The great strike there from Michalowski. Our top seeds today, a couple young players with Chris Mueller and Daniel Carlson. See who takes home that top prize today, $1,000 for the winning team. As Moss, because it's a alternate shot format, not Baker, like you see in many team competitions, Moss stepping up for his team in the second frame. And And this is one of those formats where if you have a bowler that's struggling, they can bowl several first balls in a row and really get your team behind. It is a true team effort to make it onto the TV show here at Motion Plus Lanes. You see Moss makes the adjustment off of the possible 7-10 in the first frame, and now comes high, it leaves the 4-pin. Dave Beres, the compact 5-step game, that's won him a lot of money, and when he's eligible for that Wisconsin State Hall of Fame and the Greater Milwaukee Bowling Association Hall of Fame, I'm sure he will be a first ballot admission to both of those Halls of Fame. Chad Moss, Hall of Fame qualities as well, with many state and city titles. Moss, third frame, really gets that elbow bent at the bottom of the swing to help him get underneath the ball, get that great rotation and strong roll on it, but that time not enough roll. 2-5 and not an easy spare here for Beres. Chopping a distinct possibility. But we see Beres switch to the polyester bowling ball. He'll go directly at the 2-pin, and he'll actually angle it back towards the 5 to take the chop out of play. And that is years of professional expertise by Beres coming into play on that shot. Tony Oliva up for his team after Michalowski's strike in the second. 3-pin lead, looking to extend to 13. And we've seen Tony on many of our shows. He's the guy that's the accuracy player. May not have the revolutions that many in the modern game have, but he will step on it when he has to with the ball speed to help with carry. That time a little quick through the break point. 2-pin left at the end of the pin deck. Watch the replay there. Almost got a little bit of rollback off the head pin, bouncing into the 4-5, but not enough to take out the 2. Michalowski, that little timing step we see with a lot of players. We've seen that with Chad Kloss on our previous television shows as well. Pete Weber, of course, the biggest player on the PBA Tour, that uses that backwards timing step to really get the rhythm of the footwork going properly with the swing. I want to thank Bowlers Pro Shop for all their support over the years. Joe Serrar, Dennis Jarrett, Mickey Serrar, always helping out with our telecasts. You know, Joey's doing pretty well. He's coming back from a bowling injury, first time in 40 plus years that Joey hasn't bowled league this season, and waiting for him to make some appearances in our Flat Earth League on Monday night at Alpine Lanes. I know Joe will be out there at least once before the end of the year. So good to see Joey coming back from an injury. The week 10 for Oliva. Back-to-back non-strikes for Tony. He'll make that adjustment next time he's up. And you're not going to see many open frames out of our players on the telecast today. Took over a 225 average to make the TV show, and that is not easy to do in the alternate shaft format. Both bowlers really need to be on, because if you have a player that doesn't strike 4 or 5 frames in a row, you put up a lot of spares without a chance for a double. It can make things quite rough. Moss looking for his first strike, and I don't think he was happy with the release, but had enough angle on the back end where the ball bit hard and created enough sideboard action. The 2-pin to come off the side, take out the 4-7, and the 3-6 kind of gathered around the 10 to shove it down. And now Dave Beres with his first ball attempt of the game. A little right of where he wanted to get it, and it really comes back hard off of this Motion Plus Lanes tournament pattern. Same pattern we use for all of our shows, 40 feet in length, and it has a little bit of drive to the outside, about that 5-to-1 ratio. If a bowler tries to get it to the right too quickly, it will over-accelerate back. And through the nose helps out a little bit, taking the 10 out. Takes a little more of a chop out of play for Moss on the spare conversion. And no doubles but clean for Moss and Beres through 5. And the lead, only 2 pins for Michalowski and Oliva, as they have yet to double as well. Oliva looks like he's crept his feet a little bit to the right on the approach, so he's going to try getting into the pocket a little bit sooner. We saw the weak 10 last time, and he kicks the 10 out that time. Big strike there for Tony. Keep his team up by 2, and as we mentioned before with Oliva playing the very direct game, his moves sometimes a little more subtle than what you'll see out of a power player like Mas in order to get the 10 pin out. Michalowski, you'd have to call him the modern day power stroker. Doesn't have the revolutions of a Chad Mas, but definitely knows how to keep the ball in play and work it. Is a quality player on the PBA Regional Tour, and there is a strike for Michalowski. First double of the day for that team on TV. And we'll be back with the rest of our opening match here for Motion Plus Lanes in the 2018 SABR Open momentarily.
Why do we have so many of our televised tournaments at Castle Lanes? Because we love being part of the wild side of bowling. If you're ready to get in touch with your wild side, go to castlelanes.com.
(2018) SABR Open. To keep our bowlers on time, we had them continue through the commercial break. Dave Beres in the 6th frame puts up a strike for his team. Chad Mas matches him in frame 7 for the Mas-Beres first double of the match. Tony Oliva steps up in the 7th frame, trying to extend the string out for his team to a turkey, which he does. Keeps the lead up by 12 pins, but Michalowski runs into trouble. Little left of target to start with. 3-6-10 left at the end of the lane, but Oliva, no problem covering those pins up. The lead currently 9 pins for Michalowski and Oliva as we get into the Mas-Beres team's 8th frame. Once again, the SABR Open, SABR Laser Tag in Pewaukee. Check out their daily specials on their website, sabertag.com, SABRTAG.com. Lots of fun with family and friends, no matter what your age. And Beres keeps the string going for his team in the 8th frame, out to a turkey. And that is the first time this game Mas and Beres have taken the lead, and they can make it 11 pins. Chad Mas could step up here in the 9th frame and make it a 4-bagger. Mas and Beres, both members of Brunswick's regional staff for many, many years. Quality ball, and wow. A worse result than a similar shot in the 1st frame for Mas. No love on the 7 or 10 by the other 8 pins. Watch the replay there. Head pin blocks the 4-5 from getting into the 7. 6 gets lazy around the 10, and Mas pretty much knows right there this could be match over without a miracle conversion by Dave Beres. And the 10 straight into the pit for Beres, and a lead now for Michalowski and Oliva. 13 pins. Maximum score for Mas and Beres, 213. Michalowski and Oliva pacing 216. So 2 marks here by Michalowski and Oliva will advance them into our semifinal match against Chris Hill and Glenn Deutschendorf. And a quality bounce back shot by Michalowski. That's why he's had some success on the PBA Regional Tour. Opponent leaves you an opening, you have to take advantage of it. And as Tony Oliva glances up at the scoreboard to double check what he needs in the 10th frame, I think his partner Nathan Michalowski is going, why don't you just get a strike and get it over with right now? Oliva on the approach. 5 to the line. A little quick out of the hand. And you can see Tony just didn't get the revolutions he wanted on that shot. Elbow kind of got to the outside a hair early. And this is going to be an interesting conversion attempt for Michalowski. 2-7-8. Not something right-handers see very often. The bit of an advantage for a right-hander on this spare, however, is you're hooking into the 2-8, and one of the 2 pins should get into the 7 pin for advancing to the semifinals. And he gets the 2 over just enough into the 7 to take it down. Sigh of relief for Tony Oliva as he comes back on the approach. He knows now just keep it on the lane. Get 8 pins, and you're advancing to the next round and still alive for that possible $1,000 first place prize today. All Tony needed there was 8. He knocks down 9. And 215 the total on the board for Michalowski and Oliva. And you see a bit of a sigh of relief there for Tony as he turns around to talk to a couple of the players that have stuck around to watch, and a great crowd as always, as you can hear in the background here at Motion Plus Lanes. If you're looking for silence while you bowl on the TV finals, you're just not going to get it here. Beres and Mas taking home 4th place money today. No problem on the spare for Beres, and I'm sure we'll see them back here for the Action Heating and Cooling Team Shootout. They usually have a pretty solid team. They put together that tournament on March 31st, already sold out. We'll bring the finals of that tournament to you in May here on Spectrum Sports. Semifinal match coming up next from Motion Plus Lanes.
Why just watch the action when you can be part of the action at SABR Laser Tag in Pewaukee? Take the challenge in one of 2 5,500 square foot arenas. Battle it out with family and friends using realistic military-style weapons. Come out and celebrate a birthday, bring out your employees or coworkers for team building, or take advantage of our specials running Monday through Thursday. Check us out on the web at sabertag.com.
Let's go! We go! Here we go! Let's get it on! Second time today. Let's go! Come on! Right here! Right there! SABR! Let's go!
Kerry Catania always getting the crowd in on the action here at Motion Plus Lanes. Semi-final match 2018 SABR Open. Tony Oliva starting things off for his team. Oliva Michalowski advanced out of the semifinals 215-203 over Beres and Mas. And Tony Oliva strikes to start this game. Our number 2 seeds taking to the lanes, Chris Hill, Glenn Deutschendorf. Chris Hill you see starting off for his team here in this alternate shot format. He's had a couple partners over the years and made a couple of these alternate shot finals here at Motion Plus in the past. Smooth, fluid form. Gets the ball a little right early, hits the dry, accelerates back through the pocket. And the 6'10 left chop not in play here because Deutschendorf, left-hander, our second lefty on the show, part of the top-seeded team. Chris Mueller also left-handed. He'll be bowling with Daniel Carlson with the winner of this match, and we've seen many of those teams over the years here on our alternate shot doubles telecasts. One righty, one lefty, just on the basis of it's easier for a left-hander to make 10 pins supposedly than for right-handers, and vice versa with the 7 for righties. If lefties leave a majority of their spares being 7 pins. Chris Hill, second frame. His mom Diana in the audience watching today. And how about that on the 9-pin late? Ball sliced high pocket. And I believe that was the 2-pin that came all the way around into the 9. Let's check it out on the replay here, the low level angle. And it could have possibly been the 4 after the head pin contacted it. See that ease of motion Hill's looking for off the end of the pattern, not looking for that hockey stick look, just the gradual hard roll into the pocket. Michalowski looking to put a double on the board for his team. Keeps that right tight on line, and powerful shot from Michalowski. Early 10-pin lead for his team after 2 frames. Watch the replay. Ball drives right through, almost past the 9-pin, so he'll make an adjustment off of how that ball is hitting the pocket to make sure he keeps the proper carry. Last thing you want to do is not make the move and slice a 9-pin. Will he get the head pin to come back? No. Oliva with the weak 10. And if you've listened to some of the pros when I've been on PBA's Extra Frame webcast talking about ball speed more important for a lot of players than rev rate, Tony, key with that, he may pick up his ball speed just a little bit more to get that 6 to do additional work on the 10. The roll's fairly strong getting through the pocket. Just need to keep that 6-pin out of the flat gutter. Conversion by Michalowski, 9 pins the lead for Michalowski and Oliva. Deutschendorf does a lot of his bowling at Classic Lanes in Menominee Falls. He's put up a lot of big numbers over the years. Kind of the power stroker there, loves playing it straight through the front part of the lane when he can, and no problem slicing the 5 into the 10. Big double, early 1-pin lead for Hill and Deutschendorf through 3 frames. Chris Hill, tennis player back in college, didn't really take his bowling seriously until after getting out of college. Had done it well, but on a recreational fashion. And Chris, another PBA regional player. And I think if you ask players like Chris Hill, Nathan Michalowski, Dave Beres, Chad Moss, their game really stepped up to the next level once they started bowling in the PBA regional program. And you can bowl tournaments as a non-member. It costs you a little bit more of an entry fee to do so, but if you ever want to see where you stand compared to a lot of good players in Wisconsin, a lot of great players from around the Midwest, and on occasion you'll see touring players such as Tom Hess or even Pete Weber making an appearance at a PBA regional. And if you don't want to bowl, catch regional action or catch the PBA Tour when it comes back to Aurora, Illinois at the end of June. Sean Rash will be hosting an event at Parkside Lanes in Aurora, Illinois, so about 2 hours south of Milwaukee using the Tri-State Tollway. You can check out that information about that Extra Frame Parkview Lanes Open at pba.com and the tournament schedule they have on the homepage. Oliva comes up just a little bit high, the overcorrection from his light weak 10 last frame. However, keeping his team in good shape by just leaving single pin spares for his partner. Many a team's downfall today, errant shots that left 2, 3, 4-pin combinations that had more ways to miss them than make them. And so 3 or 4 teams during the semifinal round that lost a match in the crucial 30 bonus pins for the win on a multiple pin spare that was failed to be converted. Oliva looking to make the correction here. Frame 5, high 5 gear, 5th frame, because this is a doubles event. No gift certificates on the line, but always good to be styling out in high 5 gear. And they're great jerseys for bowling. Golf as well. Yoga wear for those of you that like your Zen moments in life. Check out all their fashion at high5gear.com. Locally owned, locally made here in the Milwaukee area. Chris Hill working off a spare 5th frame, trying to keep his team even in the game. That firm positioning of the lower body at the foul line for Chris. He's a tall player, just like Deutschendorf, but they have that solid base, lets them drive through the shot, put the rotation on the bowling ball, and in that case for Hill, couldn't have thrown it any better in that situation. Deutschendorf looking for his team's second double in the first 6 frames to help get some momentum getting into our commercial break for this match. Quality shot off the hand, packs all 10 back, and the 10-pin lead for Hill and Deutschendorf as we get into our break for the semifinal match here for Motion Plus Lanes in the 2018 SABR Open.
Beres Italian Inn, featured in onmilwaukee.com's In Search of the Perfect Pizza in January 2013. Near Miller Park on Blue Mountain Road and on Milwaukee Avenue in South Milwaukee. Why do we have so many of our televised tournaments at Castle Lanes? Because we love being part of the wild side of bowling. If you're ready to get in touch with your wild side, go to castlelanes.com.
Semi-final match 2018 SABR Open, keeping us on time once again, bowling through the commercial break. Nathan Michalowski in the 6th frame puts up the double for his team. Oliva on lane 9 here at Motion Plus Lanes. Gets it a little quick through the break point, not enough love from the 6 onto the 10 to take it over. Michalowski keeps his team clean on the day with the conversion in the 7th frame. Chris Hill in the 7th frame, looking for that ball to come up a little quicker. 7 goes late to scare him, leaves just the 10. And Deutschendorf cross lane at the spare, hooking at it. Scenic route takes it down. And in this alternate shot format, Chris Hill up again in the 8th frame. A little redemption, packs 10 back, splits the 8 and 9 in a beautiful fashion. And right now, this match is tied with the Oliva Michalowski team starting their 8th frame. Both teams now, the maximum score would be 247 if they both struck out. So the possibility of the tie definitely looming over these 4 players' heads. Tony responds back from that 10-pin on the left lane to take it down on the right. And we saw Michalowski step up big in the 9th frame of the opening match against Mas and Beres. Put up the foundation frame strike that carried his team the victory in that opening game, 215 to 203. A chance to put pressure on the opponents here with another foundation frame strike. You see Tony Oliva in the background looking on, and our top seeds, Chris Mueller, Daniel Carlson, also checking out what's going on the lanes. And the head pin does damage on the 5 and keeps it from taking down the 7. And Michalowski dejected on the way back off the lanes. Oliva now can't give up on the match yet. Put up the spare and see what your opponents do in the 9th and 10th. Cross lane at the spare. Tony, one of the best spare shooters I know. He doesn't let pins get away on the lanes that often. And right now the maximum score for Michalowski and Oliva down to 227. And a big shot here for Deutschendorf in the foundation frame to set up the possible win. A strike here by Deutschendorf and a first strike in the 10th by Chris Hill, and they'll be advancing to the championship match. Deutschendorf likes it off the hand, and the messenger teaches that 7-pin not to try to stand in defiance of one. Glenn Deutschendorf. And you can see Chris Hill a little pumped up there for a second, but goes right to checking the sole of the bowling shoe, of that slide shoe, because there's still plenty of work to do to lock up this game and get into the championship match. And that's going to require a strike by Chris Hill. If Hill were to go 9, Deutschendorf pick up the spare, and then Hill strike again, it would be 226. That could let Oliva and Michalowski strike out for the win. And the flat 10 for Hill at an inopportune time. Deutschendorf takes a peek up at the scoreboard. He knows now the conversion's a necessity to keep the pressure on the opponents. Chris Hill liked it out of his hand, and he knows Ball just didn't finish hard enough to take the 10 down. He'll make the adjustment on the spare shot because count is huge on the fill ball. If Chris Hill were to get 9, that would allow Michalowski and Oliva to just get a double and 9 for the win. Anyway, you look at it right now, it's going to take 2 strikes by Nathan Michalowski and Tony Oliva in the 10th frame, and Michalowski will get to throw that first ball of the 10th in this alternate shot format. The light mixer for Hill, I don't think he was happy with the release on that one once again, but all 10 fall. And this is what bowlers dream about. When they're practicing, when they're getting into tournaments, you see Tony just getting the towel, calming the nerves himself a little bit because he knows it's not up to just his partner in the 10th frame. Tony knows if Michalowski strikes on this shot, he's responsible for the second strike in the 10th. To have that chance to advance to the championship match against Chris Mueller and Daniel Carlson. Michalowski well on target line. High flush. He stared that one all the way down. He wasn't sure if it was going to hold pocket or not. And it did so. Took all 10 down. You see Oliva, he's not a bowler to waste time. He knows what he wants to do when he gets up on the lane. He has the game plan in hand. And now it's up to Oliva to keep his team alive. And the crowd here at Motion Plus, in a rare moment of hushed at this time. And the 5 twirls and falls for Oliva. The 2-pin and the bowling ball hit the 5 at almost the exact same time. Almost froze it in place. Watch the replay right there. And Oliva breathed the sigh of relief on the pocket shot. And now it's all down to Nathan Michalowski. Strike to advance. 9 is a tie. 8 or less, they go home in 3rd place. And if there's a tie, team roll-off. 1 ball for each player on the team. Total of the 2 players' pinfall determines the tiebreaker. But we'll see if one's going to be necessary. You can't throw it any better than that in that situation. Nathan Michalowski and Tony Oliva advancing to our championship match, and we'll be back with that match here from Motion Plus Lanes in the 2018 SABR Open. Why just watch the action when you can be part of the action at SABR Laser Tag in Pewaukee? Take the challenge in one of 2 5,500 square foot arenas. Battle it out with family and friends using realistic military-style weapons. Come out and celebrate a birthday. Bring out your employees or coworkers for team building, or take advantage of our specials running Monday through Thursday. Check us out on the web at sabertag.com.
Here we go, let's go! Last match of the day! Number 1. Let's go. Let's do it now. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
As Kerry Catania just told us, it's time to determine the one who is going to be the champion, walking out with the $1,000 first place prize, thanks to SABR Laser Tag in Pewaukee. Our top seeds, Chris Mueller, Daniel Carlson. Mueller starting things off for them. The powerful lefty. The big man knocks down a lot of pins in a lot of places. He starts off the strike for his team. Second place team will take home $700 today, so a little bit of a paycheck difference for an afternoon's worth of work here at Motion Plus Lanes. Nathan Michalowski had the clutch strike on the 12th shot in the semifinal game to advance his team into this championship match. They're starting this lane once again on lane 10. And Michalowski right back in the pocket. Swisher strike. Knocks all 10 down. Tony Oliva staying loose, having a little conversation with his opponents before he steps up in the second frame. Tony's been in the pocket all day long, just leaving single pins. he has left a pin at the end of the lane. And that time the head pin runs interference on the 2, 4, and 5 with none of those 3 pins able to reach the 7 pin. So you watch on the replay, head pin off the sideboard into the 4 pin before the 2 or the 5 can even get there. And that's one thing with a player of Tony's ball speed. You can get those pins dancing around the lanes, but every once in a while, that head pin can reach such a velocity that instead of being beneficial to pinfall carry, it becomes harmful, as it did on that shot. Michalowski keeps his team clean. No open frames for Michalowski and Oliva through 22 frames on television today. Daniel Carlson, we saw him in the Motion Plus alternate shot team event last November here on Spectrum Sports. Now bowling in the doubles event, and that ball turned and burned when it got off the end of this 40-foot pattern for Carlson. Watch how strong this ball starts to make its move and then just kind of lays out. When it gets near the pocket, gets a little lazy, leaves the 2-4, and now with Mueller being left-handed, he's got to worry about the chop. He's going to hook at it. Well, he took the chop out of play, barely getting enough of the 2-pin. Send it to the side and pick up the spare. Match all tied after 2 frames. Interesting fact here with Daniel Carlson, his sister Mary, married to Chad Moss. Remember that 4th place doubles team? Chad sticking around right now, giving young Daniel some advice on the lanes as this goes on. And then I don't like the way Daniel's ball is reacting right now. It's getting to the break point and it just turns and it doesn't continue the motion through the pocket. He needs to either make the adjustment to the right with his feet a bit and play a little more direct, or just firm it up in the oil, move the target aboard left so the ball saves a little more energy. And a terrible shot there by Mueller on the spare. Not even close. Looks like he's sliding around the foot a little bit, checking the hand as well, but an early deficit to a team you cannot afford to give a deficit to today. With Michalowski and Oliva, Tony Oliva stepping up in frame 3. Tony kind of spun that one a bit. Tried to get it to go down lane faster and a little further. The later ball reaction slices past the 9-pin. And once again, Oliva continuing to leave just a single pin on slightly errant shots, making life much easier on his teammate, Nathan Michalowski. Michalowski cross lane at the 9-pin, and Michalowski can use that to sight up the strike shot as well. Watch the ball reaction going down lane. As we see Oliva step up in the 4th frame. Lead currently 11 pins after the 3rd frame open for Mueller and Carlson. That time Tony gets the 9 to go, and I think we're going to see a little bit of move left on the approach with Tony Oliva next time he has to throw a first ball, which the way Nathan Michalowski's been throwing it the last couple of games, will probably be in the 6th frame. Something tells me Nathan's locked in the pocket when he's stepping back up in frame 5. Carlson, his 3rd consecutive first ball, high backswing. And once again, the ball just quits after the break point. And that ball reaction just not suited for the oil pattern on the lanes right now. I'm not sure if Daniel's just not picking it up with his eyes, or it's just maybe a case of the nerves. He's a quality young player. He's put up a couple of 800 series over the last year or so. And obviously, with being part of the team that made the Motion Plus alternate shot team event in 2017, he's a team player. He knows how to get his team into a TV finals. Another open frame, 2nd one in a row for Mueller and Carlson. And the wheels are starting to come off for that team. Big deficit after 4 frames. Carlson still the same ball in hand. Let's see if he tightens up the line in the oil. Goes farther right once again. He's got the line. He's throwing it close to target. The ball's just not the right piece in his hand at this particular moment. There's ways around it. And when you're that close to the pocket all the time, sometimes it's tough to switch bowling balls. Mueller, third spare attempt in a row. This time, knocks it down, avoids the buzzard as we get into our commercial break for this game. Big lead for Michalowski and Oliva in our championship match. (2018) SABR Lanes Open alternate shot doubles. Michalowski and Oliva doing what they've done all day long, staying clean and staying ahead in matches. Big lead now against Daniel Carlson and Chris Mueller. Michalowski up in the 5th frame, looking to put a double on the board for his team, and scrambles everything down. Big double, big 31-pin lead for his team with half a game remaining. $1,000 first place prize to our champions today. And you watch Tony Oliva after leaving a 9-pin and almost leaving another 9-pin, makes that little bit of a step to the left, and that time a little too much speed. 6 flat in the gutter, as our friend Randy Peterson likes to say on ESPN and the extra frame telecasts. That's the quitter 10. 6-pin quits working. However, Tony Oliva leaving the simple spares for his doubles teammate. I'm looking to stay clean through 26 consecutive frames and keep that big lead. 30 pins the lead now for Michalowski and Oliva. Daniel Carlson stepping up in the 6th frame, his 5th consecutive first ball. And when you have one player in these alternate shot doubles formats throwing even 3 or 4 consecutive first balls, you're not going to keep up with the rest of the field. That time, Carlson, high and tight, gets that ball motion with a tighter line to finish through the 1-3 pocket instead of quitting before it. And watch that 2-pin come off the sideboard, takes out the 4 and the 7 with authority. Right now, a maximum score for Mueller and Carlson, 227. With Michalowski and Oliva pacing in the 220s. It's going to take a lot of strikes now for this team. And Chris Mueller just threw a great ball right there. Rings up the 4-pin around the 7. And you don't want to say it's game over already at this point in the 7th frame, but when you have opponents throwing it as well as Oliva and Michalowski are, you know, if you're Daniel Carlson and Chris Mueller, you're in a lot of trouble at this point. A high hard one by Daniel Carlson at the spare. Keeps his team within striking range, but 31 pins the lead for Oliva and Michalowski, with Oliva stepping up in frame 7. Oliva struck last time he had a first ball on this lane, strikes again there in the 7th frame, and if Nathan Michalowski can strike here in the 8th frame, it's going to be pretty much $1,000 in Nathan and Tony's pocket. Of course, I'm sure some of that will get left here at Motion Plus Lanes. Big crowd still watching. You see a lot of the bowlers that participated today, and a lot of family and friends made their way here for the TV finals. Michalowski, quality shot out of the hand, and packs all 10 back. And once again, doubles team, it's all about rhythm, chemistry between the players. And Nathan and Tony, a little polar opposites sometimes. Tony chats a lot. Nathan, kind of a quiet guy while they're bowling. Tony will talk to some of the other players down on the lanes, some of his friends and family in attendance, and they both get the job done, and holy cow, does that head pin get the job done there for powerful Chris Mueller. Spinning off the sideboards, takes out the 5, 6, and 10 zone. And we're going to see a lot more out of both these young players. They may be finishing in second place today for Mueller and Carlson, but they bowl a lot of events in the area, both in their 20s, and they both are a couple of the hardest workers on improving their game, practicing whenever they get a chance. First double of the game for Mueller and Carlson. Too little, too late. But $700, not a bad consolation prize for those two young players. Once again, we make these events here at Motion Plus Lanes affordable for all bowlers. Only a $100 entry fee today for this event. 40 teams, full field. And the prize fund, almost $4,000. Thanks to the money kicked back in by Motion Plus Lanes and SABR Laser Tag. And Tony Oliva and Nathan Michalowski will be taking home the lion's share of that prize fund, $1,000 for the championship. 227 here if we get a full punch from Michalowski and Oliva. 207 the maximum score for Mueller and Carlson. So Tony at this point in time just needs 6 pins on the first ball to lock up the championship, and a quality shot to round the bases and headed for home. Tony Oliva and Nathan Michalowski, your 2018 SABR alternate shot double champions. And Tony, one of the few bowlers to repeat as a titleist in this event. A few years back he won with Greg Thomas. Now I think he may be signing Nathan Michalowski to a long-term contract after today. Michalowski with the meaningless fill ball shot, as we'll fast track through the end of this match. Chris Mueller drills up equipment in his uncle's pro shop, Rich Mueller's pro shop inside of Village Bowl in Menominee Falls. And another powerful strike for Chris. He knows how to throw pins around in a hurry. 2 on the spare attempt by Oliva gives his team 216 for the championship win. And Daniel Carlson, I think once he comes back and looks at the video of this championship event, I think he's going to realize a little different ball motion could have meant a ton in this championship match. But a solid effort all day long for the Mueller and Carlson team to be a top seed in this event with 40 great teams from Wisconsin and Northern Illinois. Nothing to hang your head about if you're Daniel Carlson or Chris Mueller. 216 for Michalowski and Oliva, 196 for Mueller and Carlson. Your champions, Nathan Michalowski, Tony Oliva. We'll be back to talk to that team after this short break.
Live, on demand, worldwide, Extra Frame is always on. It's the online bowling channel. Watch live qualifying rounds and match play from every PBA Tour stock and every PBA 50 Tour event on your big screen, PC, mobile phone, or tablet. Archived nationally televised shows and content is available 24/7. Extra Frame is always on. Subscribe now at www.extraframe.tv.
Why just watch the action when you can be part of the action at SABR Laser Tag in Pewaukee? Battle it out with family and friends using realistic military-style weapons. Check us out on the web at sabertag.com. Providing premier equipment sales and services to Wisconsin bowlers since 1973. Check out our Wall of Fame and our current specials at bpsmilwaukee.com. We've seen the key to winning here on a lot of our Spectrum Sports bowling telecasts. Filling frames, getting those spares when you can't get the strings and strikes in a row. Tony Oliva, Nate Michalowski did that all day long. 30 clean frames. one from the number 4 seed in the stepladder, and they take home the $1,000 first place prize here at Motion Plus Lanes for the 2018 SABR Open. More bowling coming to you from Motion Plus Lanes. Back to our high school bowlers, the Top Gun Girls Finals, our next show here on Spectrum Sports, followed up by the boys finals later on in March. Looking forward to some quality bowling from the best young players in the state of Wisconsin in the high school ranks. I'm Phil Brylow. Parents, take the kids bowling because they'll have fun for life. And we'll see you next time here from Motion Plus Lanes in Cudahy.